Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Ecommerce Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Scott DeGrossier, founder and CEO of Wicked Reports. I have with me today Kiril Kirilov. Did I say that correctly?
Completely right, buddy. Thank you so much for having me today.
Nice. Now, Kiril is the manager of Rush. It's a Shopify shipment software that helps drop shippers, brand owners, and agencies increase their AOV and LTV, which I want to get into. I've been prowling around the site. I have a bunch of questions. And also over 10 years of experience in e-commerce, which, you know, our wheelhouse on this podcast is e-commerce brands looking to scale. So this will be a perfect melding of need with something that you have and also some interesting stories. So really happy to have you today, Kiril. Thanks for joining.
Pleasure is all mine. Just so you know, it's like 9:30 p.m. on my end, but I'm super excited about the call today. So let's kick in and just, put me on the back burner and ask me the bad old questions.
Sure. Well, the first one's related to your LinkedIn, which you can connect with him on I Am Kiril. The truth dropped. I was cracking up personally. Then again, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to drop shipping is like being pregnant. Everybody says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you got banged.
Banged, correct. Yeah, like
explain that statement. I know the metaphor is hilarious, but behind the scenes, where did that come from?
Oh, it came from the fact that I've been doing myself dropshipping since 2016. And it started from the fact that I was just pondering about the idea, should I do print on demand or should I just do some products from China? And let alone in the next couple of days in 2016, like in a matter of probably a week, I scaled a product from zero to almost like 5,000 in revenue. And that pushed me to, I'm going to make more out of it because I can see these easy dollars coming my way. And I kept pursuing that thing because I started building these relationships with some suppliers in China. And at some point, you are probably going to get attached to what you're doing right or wrong, but it's making you money. And you're going to continue on doing the same old mistakes. And after a while, I started realizing that I'm sitting right now on not like the right foundation when it comes down to building a good, solid brand that can provide more reasoning for anybody or any customer to come back and buy more complementary products and become from one-time buyer, a second-time buyer, and like a repeat purchaser over time. And it's due to the fact that I think right now it's not that hard, but like 2 years ago, it was definitely the case. Number one, suppliers in China don't really speak good English. So you're having that barrier of communication. You're trying to explain something. They're probably going to get it right. They're looking to squeeze the dollars at the end of the day. So they're going to just be sending a bunch of, stupid, low quality products to the end consumer. You're going to have an increase in the chargebacks, in the returns, and losing some payment gateways that you've been putting up some time and effort to approve them, to keep them up to speed. And overnight, they're going to be gone like PayPal, Stripe, you name it. And it's a never-ending battle because at least in 2019, I didn't really have the technology to support my activities with these huge, processing and transit times. And my wife and I were so lucky to have a baby in 2019. So I just took off a break for 2 months and revisit my journey to think about what should I do next.
And you decided to get into the app space. So fulfilling and so challenging. Two things, having a kid and having a platform. Most fulfilling and challenging thing you'll do at the same time.
I think the kid is actually the easy one.
Yeah, totally. So, first of all, who wrote you LinkedIn? I have LinkedIn profile envy. Like mine sucks. I'm looking at mine and it wasn't like, I love yours. Like we could do a whole podcast just off things I've learned from your profile. Like
I have 3 versions, by the way. I've done it myself, but right now we have an in-house team of lead gen guy and a copywriter, and we're switching my LinkedIn bio every once in a while. It really depends on what kind of, outbound campaigns we're going to be putting up together so that we can, get some eyeballs from agencies, brand owners, whatsoever. So it's always going to be speaking to the right persona through the means of, hey, I'm Kiril. And do you know that dropshipping really sucks? Let me help you out with that. Do you want to jump on a call with me and let me show you what we've been putting up together in terms of technology for the past year and a half?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. And so getting into like one of the topics on there, which I know you can talk about from your website too, is ecom needs to increase LTV because the first purchase is not where you make the money. It's the second or the third, ideally infinite
Yes.
amount of future ones. Now, I wouldn't normally think that, tracking your package is going to, I mean, just because the fact you do it, have my brain spinning on what I might dream up, but you live in that space. How are you going to increase LTV just tracking a package or where's your order or all that stuff?
Like it's super simple, and it comes down to the point that you need to provide the consumers, the buyers, with another reason to come back to the Shopify store, to the brand owner, and just spend more money by utilizing two important pages. Number one is the thank you page, which everybody's going to end up after making a purchase with the wallet in the hand. And number two is right after the purchase, everybody's so eager to understand when my item is going to get delivered and how long should I wait for my item to get delivered. And it's like a span of anxiety that you can capitalize on through taking into the deep technology and utilizing the data from the carriers and bringing the data in terms of filters and triggers to leverage platforms like Klaviyo, Omnisend, and a bunch of more coming up quite soon. Just because once you go down the rabbit hole, every single bit of information, as you probably know it better than myself, you can create your own custom events out of it and push more personalized messages to the end consumers. Usually what we see, it really depends on the vertical, whether you're doing print on demand, drop shipping, or you're a big brand selling supplements, skincare, it doesn't really matter. You should expect to get between 3 and 6 sessions per single buyer to come back and look up the order status updates on your customizable tracking page. And if you not only build tracking pages for the sake of building stupid tracking pages, but if you utilize the specific place of inventory that you have the eyeballs and the control of, you can create different kind of layouts which are conversion revenue optimized to initiate more people to click through, keep them in the funnel, and present them more content, more reasoning for them to believe in your brand and build that trust and credibility. And this naturally is going to turn into these customers pulling up the wallets once again and spending more money with the brand. And what we see across the board, by the way, without any exaggeration, is between, let's say that on Klaviyo, a single email to be sent out to the end consumer, which is the buyer, is probably going to be getting between $1 and $4 every single time you're going to be sending these shipping notifications, due to the fact that we're seeing an open rate between 50 and 80%, like that's in the ballpark, and a click-through rate between 15 and 50%. Like these emails are like SMS notifications sometimes. But we're not going to stop here because we're leveraging push notifications and SMS as well. And it all comes down to connecting the dots. Not only let's send as much shipping information as possible, but like how we can take this shipping information and use it softly to put up more upsells and cross sells, put up more gamifications, or we're running right now a reward campaign, whatever the case might be. So the good old, bread and butter, which is gonna bring back more eyeballs, and you can monetize the eyeballs and make more money out of it.
Pretty cool. So yeah, because track my package or details of your order, people will, it makes sense. I do it. I buy crap online all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly like we were just in Napa, we bought a ton of wine. So when the package shipment email came, it was from UP. The wine people aren't that savvy as marketers. It was just the UPS one. But if they would have had their own and said, hey, we're picking the grapes or whatever, throwing another bottle for this amount, I probably said, all right, why not more? I've already spent this much. What the hell? So you have control, my understanding, so you can control what you're going to upsell or cross sell, but where does that embed in? Where do you find it works? Is it like because tracking the package might be too late. Is there like for people that there's delay in fulfillment? Do you try to get them to jam more stuff in the box you're going to send, or how do you?
I think that
what's the strategy?
Couple of use cases. Typically in the first 24 to 48 hours, usually the customers are really hot and they're going to come back and spend more money if they definitely believe in what they're buying, and they're probably missing on some other item that it's not being presented by the time of going through the checkout. That's exactly the time where you haven't still fulfilled your items and you are trying to combine them with, while we're waiting for the item to get fulfilled, why don't you just come back and look for more items and buy more? At the same time, we're going to combine it in one package and push it out of the warehouse. And the next part is going to be like, oh, by the way, we have updates from your order. It's currently going to the final destination. It's in transit. But just so you know, we have a hot best-selling product that is currently almost out of stock. Come back and check it out. So you're trying to, grab the attention, use that engaging factor, and combine it with, it's coming your way, nothing to worry about. Don't go to PayPal and open another dispute, hold the bow, but go to PayPal and spend more money. And on the other hand, out for delivery is really a great one. And the delivered event is also super beneficial because of the fact that, number one, what we do definitely different than other competitors. And just so you know, I'm going to open the bracket. It's going to probably blow your mind, but I'm not here to even, sell more products. I believe that if somebody is really interested into trying it out, give it a shot. We have a 3-day risk-free trial. 7-day risk-free trial, or 14-day. We can just throw it up to your audience. It doesn't really matter. You're going to see for itself. If it's not going to pay for itself at the end of the trial, just get rid of it. That's basically it. Mm-hmm. But speaking about the delivered status, what our competitors are not doing, and they can take the tip that I'm going to share with the audience. We know when it's delivered at the mailbox, at the parcel locker, at the neighbor, at the front door, you name it. Most of the time, people are going to come back and be like, oh, surprise, surprise, your parcel has been delivered. Do you want to buy more products, complimentary ones, etc.? No, they don't, because it's sitting at the mailbox. They haven't still gotten the first item, and you're asking them to buy more products over and over again. So we want to go down the rabbit hole, be super specific about the promise and the message. And if it's the right one, they're always going to appreciate it, and they're going to spend more money.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, so can you tell where it was delivered? That's kind of cool that you say it's in the mailbox, or I didn't know that was possible.
We have a cool case study once again, which is like, we are facing right now some challenges. We tried to deliver, but we're facing animal interference, like a dog is barking or the neighbor's dog is barking, and we couldn't deliver the package because we were having some issues with doing so. But other than that, like, all the data is coming up from these shipping carriers. But the reason that people are not making money is because they're sending the traffic to USPS, FedEx, DHL. You have no control on that website. You can't really even attach a pixel, whether it's going to be Facebook or Google or even Wicked Reports pixel. It doesn't really matter. So you're completely losing track of these heavily earned buyers that you're spending thousands and millions on Facebook to acquire them, but you're going to let them go to FedEx and build FedEx brand rather than just build your own brand and come up with a revenue optimized tracking page, not like a tracking page to track some stupid parcels.
I totally agree. Yeah, because then you're getting that traffic, and they might click around, see other stuff you got going on. No, I thought you had a really nice tracking page. It was just well laid out. It just immediately made sense, right? Show the recommended products based on the customer's order. So how do they do that? They go and they set up in the app and they say, if this is in the order, then show this, or sounds
Correct.
Like how you do it.
It's using like a conditional filter, and is always going to exclude what's within the item. But we can have a box which is going to say items in the order, product 1, product B, product 3. It doesn't really matter. The reason being is that they're always going to double check, did I actually just purchase 2 or 3 items, or just one, whatever the case might be. But on the other hand, we want to use that specific section to increase the social proof. How? By people coming back for the delivered status. And there is going to be a button which is going to appear, which we always can change the CTA by write a product review or leave your honest feedback, but it's going to be seamlessly integrated with Stamped, Yotpo, Okendo, Unip. If I'm missing Lux, judge me. If I'm missing anyone, I apologize about it, but we have seamless integration. So It's like somebody's getting at the mailbox. They're going to go back to the tracking page, and with a single click of a button, you're going to have an increase by 15 or 20% in the social proof by collecting more reviews on the fly. And this is coming up also as part of a native integration between Klaviyo and Rush, and let's say Lux or Okendo on Klaviyo. So it's super easy to be set up. And that's why I'm calling it like we're building recipes here. We're not just building some flows left and right. We want to hear the main pain points of the merchant, of the brand owner, of the dropshipper, and see how we can fix it out ASAP through data. Exactly what you guys are putting up with Wicked Report. You don't need to be blind about what's happening. You need to know exactly who has clicked where, what's happening after the click, where they're going to, how much time they're spending elsewhere, and how we can capitalize on the whole behavior that is happening from order to unboxing and beyond that button, the unboxing.
Yeah, well, there's a guy that I like to follow, Robert Fritz, and he wrote a book called The Path of Least Resistance. And his premise was, well, if you have a goal, you got to measure your current reality by the same metric. And you got to face all the issues of the current reality of why that's your reality versus the goal. So I like that approach. It fits in nicely with that. That's how we run Wicked Reports as well. Because we could say, hey, I want to be a 100 million ARR company, and then you're whatever ARR. Well, then why are you there? What's the reality of it? You know,
exactly.
You got to deal with present reality. So that,
and it's always evolving, by the way, right?
That must save a lot of customer service, just drama. And
if you don't save on customer support, you're never gonna, grow as a company, in my opinion. It's always gonna be super challenging spending X amount of hours, whether you are an e-com merchant or a software as a service company. Like, you can't afford to spend half of your day dealing with customer support. You need to make sure that your product or service or whatever you're putting up together is really polished enough to handle the customer support on its own.
So is it any size? Is it Shopify, any size store can just plug this in, or is there like parameters around, like what's
that's a good question
to get this thing fired up?
I think that's a couple of use cases that I can definitely have in mind, and I've been having some calls with current customers. Number one, we're serving, customers from 0 orders to 100,000 orders per month, like huge ballers who are making, 3, 4, 5 mil per month in revenue. And it always comes down to, number one, understanding the 3PL and the supply chain. What I mean by that, whether you're doing dropshipping from China, you have no freaking idea from which house or place the item is going to get shipped out, going through the Hong Kong customs, going to the United States, whatsoever. This is where our feature called last mile carrier notification is going to fit in, because number one, we can blacklist the location China per se, and we can say replace Hong Kong with Rome, Italy, just for the sake of the demo.
Okay.
And the end consumer is going to think about, item is coming from Rome, Italy, and it's going to approach the United States. But once it's going to enter the US, we're going to listen to USPS as a final carrier, which is handhold deliver the item. So throughout the whole time of people getting notified, they will never think about that the item is ever coming from China. And if the product is decent enough, they're always going to appreciate it, and they're going to come back and spend more money. Number two, if you're dealing with print-on-demand warehouse and in-house fulfillment, and you're using, for example, a 3PL somewhere, you can use order tags internally in Shopify, and we can split these flows by if it's warehouse number 1 against warehouse number 2, because you're going to have a built-in custom reports analytics, and we can see which warehouse, how likely it's going to perform in terms of processing time, and then out of the door, and then delivery times. And we can split between FedEx and DHL and USPS, all these carriers, and we can go down even deeper by splitting by country itself. So we can know the minimum, the maximum, and the average days to deliver. So at some point, it's not going to be like one size fits it all, like people are trying to use it across, different businesses. Like, I'm going to use what Ezra is putting up together. Like, Ezra is a brilliant marketer, but like Boom by Cindy Joseph is not really applicable sometimes for clothing and apparel, because 7 products against 1,000 products, it's a whole different ballgame, right? So you have to understand your business from the inside out, how you're going to optimize your supply chain to use it to communicate better with your customers and set the right expectations. And that's why I'm going to once again repeat myself. We want to not utilize only our own data, but we want to combine the data with third-party applications, with what we hear from the Shopify natively, with what the shipping carriers are providing to us, and you can play with the recipes on its own. And last but not least, I think that the most challenging part in the upcoming Q4 season will be the fact that, an example, 20 or 30% of the items are going to get delayed. That's definitely guaranteed. What's going to happen is that most of the parcels are going to remain in transit status for at least 20 days before USPS. or anybody's going to come up with a custom status and they're going to label it as delayed. Then your current shipping software, without naming, my competitors, names, is going to say, oh, it's been delayed, but it's 20 days in that specific status. What we can do for you, we're going to be calculating the hours on the back dynamically. And we can say, if you see that it's taking on top and it's getting a stalled status per se, we can say 7 days in. And if it's still in transit, send it on a notification to a customer and let him know that we are seeing that you're facing some challenges and likely a delay is happening on the back. Rest assured, we're going to take a good care of you, and this is calm them down. And this is also going to provide you a reason to bring your customers back in your funnel and they can spend more money, because you are not hiding behind the curtains, but you're going after them and be like, we as a brand are going to be here to support you. We apologize about the issue. We're going to take a good care of you.
I love that. I mean, it might be a good outbound campaign for you, delivery status fraud, because it is. And people are going to email in, because once it's in transit, then the clock starts ticking in your brain. Like you said, you're like, all right, a couple days, within a week, and all of a sudden, whatever the following week, after the weekend goes by, you're like, wear those pants or that wine or whatever. You're going to be like irritated. And then someone on support has to look it up, say the same damn thing back to the whole batch of customers. I think that's a really strong point that you'll want to promote, because I could see that happening, people being very upset. My first Wicked Reports customer, who's a dear friend of mine, is Get Maine Lobster. They ship live and frozen lobsters. So the live lobsters are in dry ice. So if they don't get delivered on time, when they're dead and you shouldn't eat them, they can be dead within a couple hours, but not like
we have a chocolate brand, by the way, and we're facing such a great challenge because it's going to melt down in no time. If it's going to be sitting at the melt box, it's ridiculous.
But also with the meal, the lobster, you're getting a live food delivered on a specific. He has a custom shipping thing, because you're picking the day you want to cook it. It has to arrive that day. And so if a snowstorm comes into Maine, FedEx is just like, hey, we ain't picking it up today. Or UPS, he goes back and forth, whichever one's not irritating him. And like, it's a lot of drama. People have like Valentine's Day meals planned or whatever. People are really upset. I mean, and it's out of his control.
Stressful. Yeah.
So that would be helpful to know, hey, it says in transit, but it's not showing up. You're screwed. Make alternate. That big romantic dinner you're going to propose, you need a new meal.
Or just, come up with a vegan, a meal and just, present it on the table, right?
Yeah. So his upset. So you got me thinking about, so you've automated so I helped him. I'm not a marketer, I'm a tech guy, but I helped him with this one idea way back in like 2011. So we got his cart in Infusionsoft, which isn't built for e-commerce, but that's what we did at the time, because I knew it. And the idea was, whenever someone made an order, we sent an email the next day. Hey, we're packing up your stuff. Would you like us to throw in some clam chowder for $10 instead of 15 or whatever the heck it was? And the AOV in the cart, 1 out of 5 was the take rate. So he just made money. People are like, oh yeah, I'll take some clam chowder. So the website wasn't that good back then. It wasn't good enough to, cross-sell, upsell.
Yeah, but the offer was appealing, right?
Yeah, people
liked it. People
like, oh, I do want more, because when you get in it totally fit the purchaser's mindset.
Correct.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the food. Oh yeah, I want chowder before. It's the New England thing to do. So it was a smart offer made at a good time, so it would work.
Yeah, and you're totally right on that part, because like, it's so hard to convince somebody to spend any dollars with a fresh new brand that they just found out on Facebook, and you're just gonna stop communicating with them like in that moment. Like they just spend money, and you'll be like, okay, fine, thank you so much. I have your dollars. You need to continue on hunting more dollars, because they're just in that cycle about, I trust you, I like what I'm seeing, show me more. And you're stopping here like, why don't you just show them more? Nobody's doing that. And we're just simply using that organic behavior about, let me take you back to the tracking page and let me show you more stuff. That's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a genius idea. So I'm glad you thought of it. It's killer because
Let me tell you a funny thing, by the way. I'm sorry for holding on that part. We have a guy, a customer of ours, who is using one specific subject on Klaviyo. I don't recommend somebody's using it, but like if a parcel is coming into a delayed mode, they will be waiting like 7 or 10 days. It doesn't really matter. And they're going to send another email notification. And the subject is going to say, your refund is waiting for you. Without a refund to be waiting for them, 90+% open rate. And they're going to once again bring them back into the funnel. Be like, oh, this is probably not for you. But at the same time, we have some more hard items to offer to your, to your friend or to yourself, etc. Come back and spend more money. Like that subject line is killing it. Like tremendous open rate. Your refund is waiting for you.
So would he give them one? Because it's delayed, right? So in theory, they could refund.
Yeah, like somebody's going to PayPal and almost like opening the dispute and be like, horrible, your refund is waiting for you. But by the way, yeah.
That's an intelligent thing right there.
Yeah.
That is killer. That is
you never know. Amazing. I mean, crazy guys using some crazy techniques.
Well, I mean, when you're trying to make sales, you do, it's a forever testing mentality if you're going to evolve forward. You can't just rarely
I think that
you rest on your laurels. You got to always be reinventing, which makes it fun, but it's not for everyone,
You definitely don't have to be scared because once again, somebody is trusting you in that moment. Use the trust and even enhance it in a sense. So if you're going to be up for them, regardless of the reason, those customers are always going to appreciate it and come back and spend tremendous amount of money, and they can become your either VIP clients or your big whales. That's the whole idea. And because these big whales are going to be responsible for likely at the end of the year for 25% of your revenue. Only 5 or 10% of your customers are going to bring a whole new chunk on the pie on the table.
Yeah, that the 80-20 rule usually holds up pretty close.
Every single time.
Of the customers, 80% of the rev.
Yeah.
So we're always trying to figure out, we have ways of figuring out for people, here's your best customers, and as the LTV grows, the ROI, we automatically increment. And they're like, oh, wait, that doesn't look as good in Facebook. I'm like, no, they just rebought off the text, and then they did off an email, and then they did this. And you got them off Google. So this Google search keyword turns out is worth way more than it looks in Google. That's why you pay us. And then
yes,
that lifetime value mindset, or an average order value and lifetime value in combination, is where then the brands can spend because they have the edge on the competition. They know, hey, the value for this conversion is much higher down the road. So your product just naturally will complement that. Like, let's just get some lift without on autopilot. That's nice.
Because you're no more blind, you know how to read the data. And if you know how to read the data, I don't think that you're going to face any challenges in future to build a great brand.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is great, man. Anything else you want to chat about before I let you go on your man? I know it's late there. I'm just going to relook at your amazing. I was going to post that we got something new coming out. I'm going to post on LinkedIn. Now, now I got to update my profile. Can't do my dumpy profile now. I need to update mine.
I can close on that part, by the way, which is number one for all your listeners. If they want to give us a shot, come here. We're going to throw a 30-day free trial, risk-free, regardless if you're doing 1,000 or 100,000 shipments. We don't really care. Just let us know that you're coming up from Wicked Reports podcast. Our doors open. Our guys are going to support you. They're going to handhold you. We're going to do the heavy lifting for you. We're doing it every single time. We know the recipes. Let us do the heavy lifting for you. And in a matter of 1 month, if you're not happy, just let us know what the obstacles are going to look like. But 99% of the time, you're going to be super satisfied with the outcome. And don't sleep on free money that you can capitalize into the post-purchase experience. And make sure to always stand up for your customers, regardless of the issue, because if you don't stand up for your customers, you're likely pushing a customer to go to Amazon naturally and spend their dollars over there.
That's great. Thanks. This pod will land in December after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, when people actually will look at, people get very touchy. Our average customer does around 1,000 sales a day. So
yeah,
probably need this. So I was pretty pumped that we had you on. All right. Thanks, Kiril. So people find you at, I guess the app is rush.app.
Correct.
With one place. And then you get all kinds of places. LinkedIn, I am Kiril. That's with one R. Maybe my pronunciation, not that great.
Yes.
Anywhere else? I don't know if you're a big Twitter guy or not. I'm not really on there, but
I'm not really. I like Twitter, but not really posting that often. But if you see a crazy about us on LinkedIn, that's probably myself. And you can definitely send me a connect, send me a DM, or just go to Kiro, Kiro, at rush.app and just say hi. And I'm always going to follow up personally on that email and make sure that I'm going to be providing, first of all, 3 advice, 3 tips, 3 anything before asking for any money in return. Because I believe that stack of value comes for a stack of money after that.
Everybody likes stacks of money.
Yeah.
All right, Kiril, thanks a lot. Take it easy.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.